So at age 25, I started losing my hair. By the time I was 29 years old, I found the best hair loss solution for me, which is scalp micropigmentation. However, I got it done incorrectly. Hi, my name is Ivan Alvarado, and I'm a pro SMP artist and master trainer for scalp micropigmentation. I'm based out of Austin, Texas, and I've been doing scalp micropigmentation professionally for about 4 years. The reason of this video is to share my story and my hair loss journey, as well as my scalp micropigmentation journey, so I can hopefully educate and inspire others to avoid the same mistakes that I did when searching for scalp micropigmentation. So when I was 25 years old, I started noticing some of my hair loss towards the back of my crown. It bothered me quite a bit because having long hair was definitely part of my personality. As you can see in these photos, I always had long hair, spiky hair, all throughout high school and my early 20s. At age 24, I started to notice a lot more of that hair to thin out towards the middle and my hairline to recede quite a bit. I decided to get SMP done before I started to learn about scalp micropigmentation. As you can see here, these are my before photos before getting the SMP. You can notice a little bit of that baldness in the crown and a little bit thinning here in the middle. When I got it done, I wasn't well informed about the right way of doing SMP. The person that got my SMP done went a little bit too dark. The pigment wasn't diluted correctly. It could have been that it was too deep. Maybe the wrong machine was used. I didn't know it was this bad until I decided to shave my head. All right guys, I'm all in, 100%. So how it happened, I used to buzz my own hair on the sides just to give me a little taper. And one day I went a little bit too low towards my hairline. And I was like, you know what the heck, let me just buzz my hair down. I looked at the mirror and I realized how bad my SMP was. At that time, I knew I had bad SMP, but I didn't know how bad it was until I buzzed down my hair. Before buzzing my hair down, I knew that I needed to shave my head or buzz down my hair so I could do a proper laser removal. I got 3 sessions of laser removal. So as you can see, this is my before and after my first session of a laser removal.
Oh, that feels pretty intense? Yeah. I feel it. Woo!
Guys, when I tell you that this is probably one of the worst pains that I ever felt, I'm not joking. It was really painful. Every time I needed to get another session, I would hesitate about going to my next session because it was very painful. When I got my SMP done, I've only got my SMP done in the crown and the middle area. What I was hoping for was to get enough density so you wouldn't notice my thinning and my bald spot in the back. I didn't mind my hairline being a little bit high or a little bit receded because the idea was to leave my hair grow back once I got the SMP done. In December of 2020, I decided to get my SMP done, just the hairline, while I was going through my laser removal. So this is me after the first session of the laser removal. So what I'm gonna get done, it's my hairline right now. And then I'm still gonna get this laser off. And once it's fully laser off, then I'm just gonna do the SMP. But for now, I'm just gonna do the hairline. One of my friend's mentors in the scalp micropigmentation industry did 2 sessions of SMP. His name is Jeff Picasso. You guys can see the difference in my hairline here just by lowering just a little bit. Again, the idea here was to get my SMP totally removed and get it redone later on and then grow my hair back. So going through that removal process was very shameful as well because I didn't want other people to notice. So I would wear a lot of hats So if you guys look at on my Instagram page and things like that, you always see that I have a lot of photos and videos always wearing a hat, because underneath that hat, I had the bad SMP. Every time I would do a consultation, I would have to explain to them the right way of doing SMP and tell them about my story. Sometimes people would just get scared and they would automatically assume that their SMP was gonna look as bad as mine. October 21, by that time, I already had 3 laser removals done. That's where we had an event called the SMP Expo. During the SMP Expo, I was one of the organizers. Also, I was a speaker, and also I was a model. So as you guys can see here, this is the photo of me talking on stage in front of hundreds of colleagues in the industry. And obviously nobody knew that I had the bad SMP underneath. That was until I went back on stage and I had Candice from Undo do a session of non-laser removal on some of the bad SMP areas. And I also had her partner Steve do a little bit of a camouflage of that bad SMP. By this time, I had 3 people work on my head, which was Jeff, Candice, and Safe. Later on that event, I had a gentleman from Korea that needed a model because he wanted to show his technique, which is called ASMP. Is his technique that he does little bit of hair strokes as opposed to regular SMP, which is dots that mimics follicles. So because I was part of the event, I was an organizer and there was nobody else willing to be a model, I had to do it. So I already had my hairline as low as I wanted to get it lower, because again, the idea behind it was that I wanted to leave my hair grow after getting the full laser removal. So the only way that this was gonna work was by lowering my hairline a little bit for his presentation, which I accepted that and I was okay with, because at the end of the day, I was already in the industry and this is the look that I decided to do, which is the buzz cut look. As you guys can see here, he's working on his technique and he is working on a new hairline design just by lowering just a little bit. So this is the results after the show. As you guys can see the dates here on my screen. The event was in October, and by November, which is only about 3 to 4 weeks later, that micropigmentation was kind of faded. In this photo, you guys can see that looks really good because I kind of enhanced the photo so you guys can see a little bit of his work, which is some of those hair strokes that you see here on screen. But in reality, this is the difference between scalp micropigmentation and that technique that was done to me. One side was the ASMP, and then the other side was the scalp micropigmentation that was done in France by one of my colleagues. His name is Masoud Nouri from Canada. During this time, we were doing a scalp micropigmentation training, and he was able to camouflage some of the bad SMP that I still had. And he actually lowered my hairline just a little bit, and he gave me what I have up to this day, which is the hairline. So now by January, you have one of my other friends, his name is David Santiago, that he actually did another non-laser removal from Undo in some of my bad SMP areas. And also he did a light touch-up to still camouflage some of those bad SMP dots. Again, because at this point, I did not want to go through another laser removal. At that point, I already had 3 laser removals, 1 undo removal, and at this point, he's doing a second undo in some of the areas, as you guys can see here on your screen. And also, again, he did a little light touch-up He didn't want to go too dark, but he did a good job trying to blend out those blowouts. Fast forward to October 2022, I was doing a masterclass in Korea. So I had another colleague of mine do another session, Scalp Kang. She's really good. Now, this is my results before doing the touch-up. As you can see, I still have obviously some blowouts and some areas of concern that needed to be addressed. This is after the touch-up that she did. Obviously, I still have a little bit of pigment, a little bit darker pigment left in the back, which is something that I will hopefully address later on. But for now, I'm happy with the results of how my SMP looked before and how it looks now. So now you guys can finally see what I went through with scalp micropigmentation. And you guys can see why I'm so passionate and why I'm so involved with the industry. From my consultations, from the way I teach, I hope that my story, my journey was able to help, educate, inspire some of you guys. If you guys have any questions or concerns, I'm more than happy to help you out or give you the best resources for you to be able to make a good decision as far as where to train or where to get your SMP done. You can follow me on Instagram as ivan.smp. Thank you so much. See you next time.